guys, it's me, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day, and I'm so very excited to be here. I've said that so many times throughout the years, but is it any less true today as it was then? No. Anyway, so listen to me. I have an amazing author on the show. Authors are amazing. You know, I love authors. I love everybody that comes on this show. Why? Because they're going after their dreams, and so should you. And we're here to inspire you to go after your dream. And what are you waiting for? Huh? All right. So we have an amazing author on the show. Like I said, her name is Mirabai Bekowies. And I know I said that right because I wrote it down just like it sounds. And that's a beautiful name. And I want to introduce you to her today. She has a book, and I'm going to go ahead and put that on the screen. It's called March Rains, a novel. And we're going to go ahead and get into it because I hear a few different things are happening for this young lady here. Thank you so much for joining us, Mirabai, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, we were talking earlier and you said something so cool. We're going to get into that a little bit later on. But I wanted to find out, when was that moment that you knew? Like, I said to myself when I was young, I'm not writing no book. That's for old people. Ooh, you know?
Yeah.
But I find that I'm not old in my brain. And I do love and I admire people who do. When did this start for you?
Right. So I have always enjoyed writing, but it certainly took a turn for me. I have not published any other works before. It took a turn for me in 2022 when I had a um, a storyline sort of rumbling around in the back of my head,
Hmm.
and it was the story of a an ICU nurse who was working in the pandemic in the first year of COVID-19. I myself am a healthcare worker and have experienced what it was like to be a part of the emergence of COVID-19 in the hospital setting. And basically, what I wanted to do is to stop having her haunt me. I really wanted to be able to write. So I write it down, create the story. But I don't have any creative writing background other than college courses that I've taken. And so
Mhm.
I went ahead and I got some different books that laid out how I could structure a novel. But what was very interesting is beyond just putting the plot together,
Yeah.
learning a couple tips and tricks from those books, the story was driving itself, and it really wrote itself
Mhm.
over the course of 9 months. I wrote every day, maybe 1 to 2 pages, and I felt like I had to try to keep up with this story that was within me that just desperately wanted to be created.
Wow. Wow. You know, a lot of people told me that, especially during COVID. COVID was like one of those times that never really happened. Like in 100 years,
Right.
we had what was it, the flu? What was it that the
Yes,
100
the
years
Spanish
before that?
flu,
Right. Right.
influenza,
Until
mhm,
we had COVID. So we personally went through a non-existent existence where we were living, but we were all inside the house. And so I
yeah,
think a lot of people were thinking of different things that they always wanted to do, but they
mhm,
never did. Uh, During that time, was this when she started to haunt you?
yes, probably at towards the end of 2020. 2020 for me was a really intense time, and
Mm,
I pretty much put my, one foot in step of the other, to get through that year, and when I came out of it, I realized that there was a lot of, things that I had kind of not been able to describe or
mm,
speak about with others, and so this story, I think, was almost this disassociative way of processing perhaps some of the pain that I was carrying through fiction,
right.
but being able to name that pain and to describe the indescribable was much of what I experienced coming out of the pandemic and trying to find healing in that
Wow.
process.
So March Rains is the title of the book. And
Yeah.
so did you expect this to be your first novel? I mean, a novel. To come out the gate with a novel. That's a big thing. I mean,
Yeah.
but also did it change your writing? Did it change you? I mean, how do you before and after, how do you perceive yourself now as a published novelist?
It's shocking to me. Um, it was a story that I felt and truly believed was needing to be created,
Hmm.
and the process of writing it was so humbling because it was like it was a story that was already told that needed to then just be actuated.
Yeah.
And so it transformed me in many ways. One, from non-author to now to being an author, but in more profound ways. I think there was a lot of healing in being able to process some of the really gritty things that happened in the COVID-19 pandemic to patients who were suffering and to healthcare workers who were sacrificing daily to save them. And the degree of isolation and perhaps trauma that people went through was so significant. And so for me, in sort of grappling with that and then making something beautiful out of it,
Hmm.
something that was difficult, and turning that pain into something that is creative and hopeful, and something that I hope that will be shared with the world,
Yeah.
uh, has been an honor to just be able to do that. And
Wow.
so, yeah, I'm in awe of the process and grateful for having been able to go through it and to be able to create this book.
Wow. Wow. So, okay, let's go into characters. Okay, so you got Grace. She's your
Yeah,
protagonist. Mhm.
yeah.
But what and how much of her is you, and how much of you is her?
Right. I identify with Grace to some extent. This is She is a character she has made up, but
Hmm.
she definitely has the heart of somebody who wants to serve and somebody who wants to outrun perhaps a traumatic past and some of the things that had happened through just leaning into caring for others. And so there's a lot of selflessness and a lot of duty that she experienced, and I can see myself in that, just in my work, in my day job. But what she went through was perhaps some of my worst fears at the time,
Hmm.
and so I was able to describe an internal world and an external world and the interplay between it, as Grace navigates crisis in a way that was somehow a way to process what I know that many people have experienced um, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
That is isolation, adversity, uncertainty, survival. I don't want to get too far in
Mhm.
depth into her plot line, but she
I
takes a
got
lot of twists and turns. And yeah, it was. She is not me, but there are a lot of visceral pieces of her process and her experience in this book that definitely come from a deep place within me from my own
you. Yeah.
experiences.
Wow. Wow. That COVID-19 thing that flipped me upside down.
Yeah.
That flipped me upside down to see the health department, the health, divisions and the nurses and the doctors go through so much.
Yes.
And then people couldn't even leave their houses. So obviously I can understand how this book became something that you had to do because you are in the health field as well. So,
Yes.
so what kind of motives came from this? Like, are there settings that you feel especially important for
Mm.
adaptation when it comes to this book and to the characters, the situations?
Mhm.
Let's go into that real quick.
Sure, yeah. Well, being that the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, was the setting in Solano County, the first community transmitted COVID-19
Hmm.
case was occurring there. There's a lot of tension, and this setting and the lockdown that ensued in March is a really important place, I think, for this to take place. Obviously, the the weather, the rain, and the atmospheric rivers that we were having here in this area. I
Hmm.
am from the San Francisco Bay Area,
Okay.
um, but so I'm very attuned with the fog and this whole environment here plays a big part. It's almost like a character in the book, the
Hmm.
fog, and many of the the places like the Golden Gate,
Mhm.
the Big Sur, the Central Coast, Carmel. Berkeley is where this takes place in a fictitious hospital called Harris Memorial. And on the cover here, you can see the Berkeley Pier, and that is a very poignant scene that occurs on that pier between Grace and her husband.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question emotionally, because
Mm.
this book just appeared in your dreams, I guess. I don't know. I mean, she was haunting you, right?
It's
So
haunting.
being haunted to me is like, I'm done. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done. So I'm already screaming. All right. But to actually go through this emotion, was this during COVID that you kind of got the first kind of, ideas about this, the dreams, the haunting? Was that during
Yeah.
COVID? And what were you emotionally? Because I mean, if I was being haunted, I'd be an emotional wreck.
Yeah. I would say in the year after, I was able to sort of have a slight vantage point. In 2021, I had a little more breathing space than in 2020, where I was just working really hard, in the hospital and going from the day to day, and the trauma of it that everybody was experiencing in
Yeah.
isolation and things like that. But that character Grace, she appeared to me, and it was like in my imagination, I started to see her life, and she lived in Berkeley. The places that you will see in this book,
Hmm.
it was all flooding in, and it was flooding in when I was just listening to music, or when I was sleeping, or when I was, just walking around. And it was really interesting. I felt, a stirring, and it was almost like it. I knew that it had to be created for me to get over it, to be freed
Right.
of it.
Hmm.
And that process was much like, giving birth, right? You create something, and
Yeah.
um,
Except less painful.
less painful. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So, you know, did you have a few drafts? How many drafts did you have of this book?
I had one draft.
Okay, so from the first draft to the
Mm,
final, I mean,
mm,
did you find anything different? Did you, I mean,
mhm.
what was that like for you? Because some
Yeah.
people just put out their first draft and then they get like comments, "Hey, I can't read this." so,
Got you. Yeah.
so let
Um,
me know what that's like for you.
Yeah, so I wrote intensively for 9 months, and I didn't actually look back. I was just going, like, pursuing the story that I knew just needed to be created. And as I was writing, my mom was reading. She was following along, and I got to the end, and we went through to tweak, some grammar and, language, but the structure of it, was maintained.
I
And so
got
the
you.
content and the structure is how it was produced in its first draft.
Hmm. Hmm. And okay, so you have to let me know now. Is this thing being, your book? I should say this thing. Yeah, we talked about that thing. The thing. Go get the thing. All right. So your book, is it considering like becoming maybe an audiobook or a movie or a screenplay?
Yeah, yes. So,
Mm.
currently an audiobook is in production.
Hmm.
That should be released, soon in this year,
Hmm.
and, it is, currently being reviewed for potential adaptation to film. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's
That is
very
so
exciting.
cool. How does that make you feel? I mean, from a haunting to the screen.
In awe of being given, the gift of this story and the ability to write it, and then to be able to see, where it is going.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
been my prayer, that it will get to the people who need to hear it and read it and see it and experience it. And so, I'm just in awe of this whole process. Yeah.
Wow. What part of the book is non-negotiable? Like you could not even consider taking it out.
Oh. I think because fundamentally with this book, I also wanted to remember the millions of people who died from COVID-19, as well as honor the sacrifices of the healthcare workers who worked tirelessly through this. I
Mhm.
think the storylines that weave around Grace, the detail of the patients who are proning in the ICU on their stomachs with
Mm,
oxygen being pumped into them through ventilators,
mm,
and the hospital workers who are sweating and wearing all their personal protective equipment. These images are really important to me, and these stories are very important to contextually um, sort of show what happened, to draw the curtain back on what
mm.
happened during the COVID-19 pandemic, to dispel sort of what maybe some people thought didn't happen or didn't happen to the degree that it happened, but to really honor the lives of people who suffered greatly and
Mm.
died, and for those their loved ones who are still, you know, living with their memory of that and the trauma of that. So uh, I would hope to see that that is represented in a nuanced and a sensitive light in the book. I mean, sorry, in the film,
Yeah.
if it were to be
And the book.
adapted.
Hey.
Hey, yes. And this is also, I should say, a part of a three-book series, and
Oh,
so I
nice.
yeah, it's the beginning of a bigger story, and so I have just finished the second book and working on the third.
Nice. Congratulations. I mean, you are moving forward, and this is amazing. If
Thank
someone
you.
asked you, hey, why does that matter today? I mean, literally, I mean, that's COVID time.
Mm,
Why
yes.
what would you say though? I mean, I know I was affected by COVID. I lost my stepfather and I lost,
Mm,
eventually my mom couldn't live without him and she was gone. And a couple of my other friends passed away from COVID as well. And so yeah, it still rings true today that I miss my friends, I miss my family, and it does affect my life today because I'm not able to pick up my phone and say, "Hey mom, hey dad." You know what I mean? So yeah, this to me that would be what I would say, but what would you say?
yeah. I don't think anyone came out of it unaffected, and I'm so sorry for your loss,
Thank you.
really. Yes, I think everybody was changed in some which way. This book is for everyone who has survived it, and the generations to come, I believe, who will want to look back and understand more what it was like during this defining time in
That's
modern
right.
history.
Yeah.
And so I think it is a culturally relevant topic still. COVID still lives among us and it's alive and well. It is still
Yeah.
affecting lives. It is still taking lives, perhaps not to the same degree as it did in that first year of the pandemic when we didn't have vaccines and therapeutics and things like that.
Mhm.
But it is something that is basically what we are all perhaps processing still and grieving to some extent,
Yeah.
um, through the loss of our loved ones, through the changes in how we live our lives, the different things that we consider when we are out in public spaces, how we view disease and health, and it's a very relevant topic. I think, well, at least in my household, and many people I know are still grappling with its effects.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. I truly appreciate it. Appreciate you. Appreciate what you've done, and to bring that into light. The name of the book again is March Rains. It's a novel, and my girl's name is Mirabai Bekowies, and
Yes.
I am on a roll with names today. Okay,
You
hey.
got it.
Mirabai, thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for
much.
being on the show. Is there anything that we missed today that you would like to say?
No, I just hope that this book will get out to whoever needs to read this. I have heard from many readers that it has been healing. It has been challenging, but it has been such an important um, piece of art to consume, as it is fiction. And I just think that it's important that people will take the time in their own lives to reflect on COVID-19, even if they don't read my book, but
Yeah.
what it did and how it changed our lives, and be in touch with that healing process that we each need to make as we move through time. Now, half a decade since 2020.
Go figure.
I know,
Oh,
amazing.
wow. I mean,
Yeah,
wow. That blows my it blows my mind. It's like, really? I remember the other day when we were coming out of it, when we were going into it. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. Definitely crazy. Life changing. and
Right.
definitely pivoting for some people, like you,
Yes.
like yourself, very pivoting. I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to go ahead and check out that book. It's in the description wherever you may be watching, depending on where you're watching, that's where it will be. And it will also be on the top pinned comment on YouTube, so that way you guys can go ahead and check that out for yourselves. I'll be sending Mirabai a copy of this so she can keep her eye out on the YouTube, where you can comment on YouTube. Don't go anywhere else. It's just too much to be keeping the eye on. But keep your eye out, Mirabai, on the YouTube channel. If you have any comments, you can always answer there. And I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And my condolences for anyone who has lost a loved one or still going through long COVID, because that exists today too. You know.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until next time, guys. Mirabai, thank you.
Thank you, Yaya. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye, guys. Thank you for watching.